All right, welcome back. So, we've journeyed through the first 6 chapters of the Gita, right? And that whole first part was all about one thing, self-effort. But now we're hitting the middle section, chapters 7 to 12. And this is where everything gets turned on its head. It's like the whole teaching does a complete 180, moving from relying on yourself to relying on divine grace. This pivot, well, it changes everything. And this really gets to the heart of the problem we find right at the Gita's midpoint. Think about it. Krishna has just laid out this flawless, logical solution, but Arjuna, he's still suffering. The plan is absolutely perfect, but the person just isn't ready for it.
Okay, so let's just quickly recap where we've been. In those first 6 chapters, Krishna gives Arjuna this super clear, really logical roadmap. And the whole thing, the entire philosophy, was built on the idea of self-effort.
And it was, a really elegant and complete teaching. The solution? Simple. Realize you're not this body or this mind. You are the eternal self, the Atman. And the method to get there? That was karma yoga. Basically, do your duty, act in the world, but don't get all tangled up in the results. The bottom line, the mantra, was that Arjuna, he had to be the one to do the heavy lifting.
But this is where we hit a wall, a big one. Because even after Krishna answers every single question with perfect logic, Arjuna is still stuck. He's totally paralyzed. He gets it in his head, intellectually, sure, but in his heart, he's just frozen. He can't act. So the teaching might be complete, but the problem, Arjuna's problem, is far from solved.
So what does Krishna do to break this deadlock? Well, he does something totally unexpected. Something brilliant, really. He just switches gears completely. He introduces this whole new way of looking at things that honestly, it seems to fly in the face of everything he just spent 6 chapters teaching. And I mean, the shift is dramatic. The focus, it moves from looking inward at the self, or Atman, to looking outward, towards God. The method, it pivots from karma yoga, the yoga of action, to bhakti yoga, the yoga of pure devotion. And the whole emphasis flips from you have to do it yourself to it's about God's grace.
So you're probably thinking, wait, is this a contradiction? Is Krishna just junking the first plan and starting from scratch? And the answer is no, not at all. What he's really doing is explaining that this isn't a new path. It's just a new lens, a different way to see the one and only path.
They're really just 2 sides of the same coin. The end goal is exactly the same: self-knowledge, freedom from all this suffering. The change is just in how you see it, how you approach it. Krishna is basically offering an alternative route for people like Arjuna, people who look at that steep mountain of self-effort and just think, there is no way I can climb that all by myself. And that's Bhakti Yoga in a nutshell. It's a path of devotion and surrender. It's about reaching that same destination, that same self-knowledge, but you do it by focusing on God. So instead of trying to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, you're learning to let go and allow a higher power to lift you. It's a fundamental shift from self-reliance to, well, God-reliance.
And you know what's so powerful about this? This new path has this kind of radical accessibility. It's open in a way the first path just wasn't. Actually, there's a great analogy to explain the difference.
Think of it like this. That first path, karma yoga, it's kind of like applying to a really exclusive traditional university. You need the right qualifications, right? A certain level of mental maturity, of discipline, just to get in the door. But this second path, bhakti yoga, that's like an open university. No minimum qualifications, no entrance exam. It's open to absolutely everyone, right now, just as you are.
Okay, but what does complete surrender actually mean? Because it sounds so simple, right? Just let go. But in reality, it might be the single hardest thing a person can do. We're not talking about just believing in something. It's a total, absolute letting go of control. And that goes against every survival instinct we have. There's this great story that illustrates this perfectly. A man falls off a cliff. As he's falling, he prays desperately for help, and he manages to grab onto a branch. He's hanging there, and then God appears and says, "I'm here to save you. If you've truly surrendered to me, just let go of the branch." And the man? He can't do it. He just clings on tighter. And isn't that just a perfect picture of us? We say, I surrender, but we're still clinging for dear life to our own little branch.
So this sets up what looks like a classic paradox, a real spiritual catch-22. To truly love God, you have to know God. But to truly know God, you first have to surrender to God in love. It seems like a vicious circle, right? You need one to get the other. So how on earth do you even start?
Well, the way out of the circle is actually beautifully simple. Krishna's answer is, just start. Start right where you are. Love and surrender to whatever extent you can, right now, in this moment. There's no minimum requirement, there's no pass/fail. That one tiny initial act of just turning your focus, that's enough. That's what breaks the circle and gets the whole journey started.
And for anyone who decides to take this step, to start on this path of surrender, Krishna makes a promise. And it's not a small one. He promises the ultimate prize. We're not talking about just a strong belief or a nice feeling. We're talking about complete, certain, doubtless knowledge of the absolute reality.
I mean, listen to this promise. He says, I'm going to give you this knowledge, and once you know it, there will be nothing else left for you to know. That is just staggering. He's offering a knowledge so complete, so total, that it's the final answer to everything.
But just as he makes this incredible, mind-blowing offer, he hits us with a pretty intense reality check. He says, out of thousands and thousands of people, maybe one of them even genuinely tries to achieve this.
And then he says, even out of those few who are really striving, only a rare one ever actually gets there, ever truly knows me. Now, this isn't meant to be discouraging. The point is to show us just how precious, how valuable this goal is. It's a reminder that this is maybe the highest and, the most difficult thing a human being can ever accomplish.
And that really brings it all back home. It brings the whole question right to our doorstep. Because this is the real challenge of the Gita's second act. It's not just a question for Arjuna, the warrior on the battlefield thousands of years ago. It's a question for every single one of us who's on some kind of path to a deeper truth. It forces us to look at our own lives, our own attachments, all those branches we're clinging to, and ask ourselves honestly, if we were told to let go, could we?